If you're a dad thinking about starting a business, there's one conversation you need to get right before anything else. It's not with a mentor, it's not with a coach, it's not with a potential customer. It's with your spouse. And if that conversation feels tense, awkward, or like you're about to start an argument, you're not alone. A lot of dads tell me the same thing. I'm excited about this, but my partner is worried, or worse, they don't believe it. In this video, I want to walk you through how to get your spouse on board with your business idea without pressure, conflict, or unrealistic promises. Not by convincing, not by selling, but by creating safety. I'm Luke, and I help working dads transition into entrepreneurship without blowing up their family and finances. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to approach this conversation, so your spouse feels informed, respected, and safe, even if they're naturally cautious and even if you clashed about this before. Before we talk about what to say, we need to clear up the biggest misunderstanding in these conversations. Most spouses are not against your dream, they're against risk they don't understand. When that risk feels unclear, their instinct is to protect their family. That's not resistance, that's responsibility. So if you walk into this conversation trying to win, you've already lost. Let's start with what not to do. The fastest way to create friction is to show up with excitement and expect instant support. Statements like, "This could really change everything," or "I just need you to trust me," or "Other people are doing this and it's working." Those sound hopeful to you. To your spouse, they often sound like uncertainty, pressure, and potential instability. Another common mistake is pitching the idea instead of explaining the thinking. When you focus only on the upside, your spouse fills in the downside themselves, usually with worst case scenarios. So the goal here is not enthusiasm, the goal is clarity. Reframe the goal of the conversation. This conversation is not about getting a yes, it's about reaching a shared understanding. Your spouse doesn't need to love the idea, they need to feel informed, respected, and safe. Once safety exists, support becomes possible. Here's the mindset shift that changes everything. You're not asking for permission, you're inviting them into the process. Step 1. Start with why you're thinking, not what you want to do. Most dads start the conversation like this: "I want to start a business." That sentence alone can raise alarms. A better place to start is something like, "I've been thinking about our future and I want to talk it through with you." That signals partnership, not rebellion. Then explain why now, calmly. For example, you want more control over your time long term. You feel capped where you are. You don't want to wake up 10 years wishing you tried. Make it clear. This isn't just about chasing more money, it's about the direction of your life and your family. And say this clearly: "I don't want to do this at the expense of our family." This one sentence lowers defenses immediately. Step 2, acknowledge their fears before they say them. This is where most conversations fall apart because dads try to explain too fast. Slow down. Something like, "I know this probably brings up concerns about money, time, and stress." Then stop. Let them talk. Don't interrupt, don't correct, don't defend. Just listen. Your job here is not to win the argument, it's to understand what they are protecting. Sometimes it's finances, sometimes it's your emotional availability, sometimes it's stability because of the things they've experienced in the past. When fear stays unspoken, it grows. And when fear is spoken, it can be addressed. Step 3, explain the boundaries, not just the dream. This is the most important step. Most spouses don't need to hear how big this could be. They need to hear how this won't hurt the family. So instead of leading with the upside, lead with the limits. Talk about how many hours per week you'll work, what time work will stop, and what will not be sacrificed. For example, I'm not quitting my job. This is kept at 5 to 10 hours a week. Family time stays protected. Boundaries create trust. Vague ambition creates anxiety. You're showing that this isn't reckless, it's considered. Before we go any further, let me say this quickly. If you're a working dad trying to build a business without creating stress at home or burning yourself out, this channel is for you. I post practical videos like this to help dads transition into entrepreneurship in a way that actually fits real life. So if that's what you're trying to do, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. All right, let's keep going. Step 4, share a real story, not a promise. This is where honesty matters more than confidence. You might say, I've learned the hard way that more time doesn't automatically mean more progress. Or, I don't want this to turn into something that takes over everything. You can even say, I need your help keeping me grounded. That's not weakness, that's maturity. When your spouse sees self-awareness, trust grows. They're not just responding to an idea, they're responding to your judgment. Step 5, invite them to the decision, not the work. This part is subtle but powerful. You are not asking your spouse to work in the business, manage anything, or carry the mental load. You're asking them to help shape the rules. For example, if this ever starts affecting us negatively, I want us to revisit it. Or what would make this feel safe for you? That changes the dynamic from you versus them to both of you versus the problem. That's where alignment lives. Support without boundaries slowly turns into quiet resentment. Integration matters more than balance, and integration requires communication. Step 6, agree on a review point. One of the most reassuring things you can do is remove the feeling of permanence. Say something like, let's treat this as an experiment for the next 90 days. That single sentence changes everything. It's no longer, this is our future forever. It becomes, let's see how this feels. Agree on when you'll review it, what success looks like, and what would mean stopping or changing course. That gives your spouse confidence that they're not trapped in someone else's decisions. Step 7, accept that support may be quiet. Support doesn't have to look like excitement. Sometimes it looks like not blocking you, giving you space, or simply worrying less. That still counts. Don't pressure them to match your energy. Respect the way they process risk. Patience builds trust. Getting your spouse on board is not about persuasion. It's about clarity over chaos, boundaries over promises, and partnership over pressure. If you approach this conversation calm, prepared, and grounded, you're already doing something different from what most people do. And different is what builds trust. Your business doesn't exist in isolation. It lives inside your family. If you want long-term success, your spouse isn't an obstacle. They're your early warning system. Listen to them, include them, protect the relationship first, because no business win is worth losing alignment at home.